Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day one, episode one of our new daily show theme we're doing here in the month of October. Our favorite guitar teams. That's right, favorite rock guitar teams. These are those bands that had two or more guitar players. Got to have at least two to be a team. Got to have at least two. In some instances, there might be three. They could all be lead players, or maybe one guy was the lead player and the other guy was a kick-ass rhythm player. All right, lots of really great guitar teams throughout rock history. I'm going to pick out my favorite 31 of them, one each day. 31 days in October. I'm going to start off with, we're going to go to metal for today. We're going to talk about a guitar team that I've been following. They're no longer playing together, but I followed them for many, many, many years since I was a teenager, and I always liked the way they work together because, sometimes the best guitar teams are when you have two guys who really don't sound a hell of a lot alike, but complement each other really, really well. Those two guys are Glenn Tipton and K.K. Downing, of course, in Judas Priest, right? I picked three specific albums because I think these three albums, for me, best exemplify why these guys were so good together. So, of course, K.K. Downing is a founding member of Judas Priest. He was there from the beginning. Glenn Tipton joined a few years later. Originally, KK was the only guitar player in the band. They bring in Glenn Tipton. Very different players, these two. KK comes more from like a bluesy school. Big Hendrix fan. Really interested. He loves using like the whammy bar, wah-wah pedal. For the most part, played flying V guitars for most of his career. Still to this day, he's used other guitars as well throughout the years. Stratocasters and things. But for the most part, he was kind of a flying V guy. KK was always more kind of like seat of your pants. When it's time to solo, throw some wild stuff in there, make lots of noise, right? Make it look flashy. Long blonde hair, he had the cool look. KK always was so cool looking. Whereas Glenn was much, much more of a technical player, a little bit more melodic, less frenzied. He had serious chops. He could play the blazing fast stuff. He could play, more, melodic bluesy things too as well. But they complemented each other really, really nicely. You had the chaos on one end and the more refined on the other end, and they work really well together. And these two guys, influenced together a generation of two guitar bands. It's funny, I was actually thinking about this morning. You look at like KK, most people have always said that Glenn was more of he was the actual real guitar hero in the band from a pure talent perspective. Not that KK wasn't talented, but most of us always thought that Glenn was the superior technician on guitar. But if you listen to like KK's playing on a lot of the classic Judas Priest albums, and you listen to a lot of like thrash guitar players specifically in metal throughout like the 80s and the early 90s, and even a lot of the death metal bands, a lot of guitar players took their inspiration from KK. If you listen to a lot of the guitar solo on bands like Slayer and Exodus, and certainly lots of death metal bands, where a guitar solo would come up in a song and it was an excuse to just play really, really fast notes and bang away on the whammy bar just to make these really like noisy, flurried statements. That KK, that was his specialty back in the day. He would occasionally slow things down and play some cool solos and whatnot, but KK was always great at bringing the mayhem to Judas Priest music, whereas Glenn would come in with these, really cool, nice, speedy runs, legato type things, a little more technical passages. Both guys really, really influential. And what was really interesting, you had lots of songs where, one guy would come in and play, do the solo in a song. The other guy would basically do the rhythms. Both guys, great riff guys and great rhythm players. But, you had a song like Bloodstone where the beginning of the song is all Glenn, right? That great, amazing guitar intro, right? That's all Glenn. Then you got stuff like, from here, you got Victim of Changes where you have two epic guitar solos in the song. Clearly you can tell one guy versus the other, right? Same thing, you go to Stained Class and you got, of course, Beyond the Realms of Death. There, once again, you have two guitar solos. And you know exactly who's playing on each one of them. The one is this like, melodic and just flows really nicely. And the other one just takes you out in the song and just this manic burst of energy, right? And noise and chaos. And That's KK, right? So these guys work really, really well together, have created over the years so many legendary songs and riffs and solos. But again, possibly influenced a bit by, Thin Lizzy, with the Thin Lizzy at the same time, maybe because they started to do more of the kind of the dual thing a bit. But for the most part, they were not like that at all. Not really, I wouldn't say influenced by Wishbone Ash either. I think they basically just took their cue from bands that they toured with early on, like Black Sabbath and Budgie, and decided to make it a two-guitar band. Right. So really, really interesting stuff. Really, really great team. What's really fascinating, now all these years later, is you learn how much they really didn't like each other. But like two guys who work so well together within the confines of all these classic albums, British Steel, Defenders of the Faith, Hellbent for Leather, Sin After Sin, right? All these classic live albums. But off stage, they didn't really get along so well. So maybe sometimes, this brings about better creativity, right? Because you can't deny the riffs these guys created together, the amazing solos on these albums, and just obviously a legendary band, and they will always be looked at as two of the greatest guitar teams of all time. And there they are, really, really early on. You can see there's Glenn, there's KK, right? So yeah, that is my my pick for today, day one of our favorite rock guitar teams. Of course, KK Downing and Gleb Tipton of Judas Priest. So thanks for watching. Let us know what you think of KK and Glenn in the comments below, as well as your pick today for day one of one of your favorite rock guitar teams in rock and roll history. So stay tuned tomorrow for day two. I'll have another pick for you. Thanks for watching. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. We'll see you with more of this stuff, hopefully, as you're watching this. For those of you who are not in Poughkeepsie right now, yes, I am in Poughkeepsie right now. I'm not here in my office in the Hudson Valley here in my home. But if you're not in Poughkeepsie, thanks for watching here today, and we'll see you tomorrow for another one of these, right? So I am Pete Pardo. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell. We also have the links below to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, as well as our merch page for all sorts of cool Sea of Tranquility stuff that you can get, t-shirts, hats, hoodies, all that great stuff. And please hit that like button. So see you tomorrow morning for day two, as we talk about guitar teams each and every day this month. I am Pete Pardo. Take care. Bye-bye.